Hey everyone, MansaBusa here. Let me make a long story short. Last summer, I was riding my bike on the highway and my bike started to lose power. Eventually the engine stopped and I could not get the bike to, it would crank but it wouldn't turn over. After I got the bike home, I did some research on the web, figured it could have been one of a few things. I was running low on fuel, but for the amount of fuel I had in the tank, it should not have the engine shouldn't have stopped at all. So I basically narrowed it down to my fuel filter. And the fuel filter, it's located in the fuel pump assembly that's inside of the gas tank. So you have to drain the fuel, take the tank off the bike, disconnect all the plumbing, disconnect the electrical power supply for the pump, take the tank off the engine, and then remove this fuel pump assembly from the tank. And then the filter is inside the actual assembly here. So I've got to take this apart and get the fuel filter and separate it basically from the actual fuel pump. There's an electric fuel pump very similar to the red and black pump right there in the center of the table inside of this assembly. So that's basically what I'm doing. Right here, I want you to pay attention to these two wires. The green on the left with the little white sleeve, and then the yellow on the right with the black sleeve. Now, the yellow wire on the right is for the fuel level sender. The one on the left is for the actual fuel pump. That's the positive for the fuel pump. You do not want to confuse these when you put the pump assembly back together, because your fuel pump will not prime, and if it doesn't prime, your engine will not start. So make sure when you're putting the assembly back together that you keep these you put these back in the same locations that you see here, otherwise your engine won't start. So to start, there's 3 screws near the bottom of this assembly that you have to remove to start taking apart this fuel pump assembly. 2 of these screws are for ground wires, as you can see, the yellow and then the black, which is the ground for the fuel level sender or sensor, whatever you want to call it. Just unscrew them. I'm using a Phillips head screwdriver. And after you do that, just simply put the 2 wires aside, like I'm doing. And then you should be able to remove the bottom of the pump assembly. You'll notice the fuel pump just fell out of the assembly. It's right there in the middle, a little silver cylindrical item with the 2 wires coming out of it. It's not the right size, so I'm just going to change the actual filter and then change the pump at another time. Now you see exactly how dirty that filter is on the left compared to the brand new filter on the right. This is why my bike engine cut out while I was on the highway, and why my bike would not start afterwards. So this little part is going to be replaced, and that's going to fix our problem. All I have to do now is just reassemble everything in reverse order and put the assembly back in the tank, put the tank back on the bike, put in fuel, turn the key, let the fuel pump prime, then the bike should start.